For the final part of our app, we're going to add another button to our list swipe actions, letting users opt to be reminded to contact a particular person. This is going to use the iOS user notifications framework to make a new local notification, and will conditionally include it in the swipe actions as part of our existing if check. The button will only be shown if the user hasn't been contacted already. Now, much more interesting is how we actually schedule the local notifications. Remember, the first time we try this, we've got to call request authorization to explicitly ask for permission to show notifications on the lock screen. But we've also got to be careful. Subsequent times, because the user might have retroactively changed their mind and disabled notifications, we've got to check there too. Now, one option is to call request authorization every time we want to post a notification. And honestly, that works great. The first time will show an alert, and all other times it'll immediately return success or failure based on the previous response. However, in the interest of completion, I want to show you a more powerful alternative. We can request the current authorization settings and use that to determine whether to make a new notification or to request permission. The reason it's helpful to use this approach, rather than just requesting permission every single time, is that settings object handing back to us includes properties such as an alert setting to check whether we can show an alert or not. The user might have said restricted that one thing so we can display a badge on our icon but nothing else. And so we're going to call get notification settings to read whether notifications are allowed or not currently. If they are, we'll show a notification. If they aren't, we'll request permissions. And if that comes back successfully, then we'll also show a notification. Now, rather than just repeat the code to schedule notifications again and again and again, we'll put it inside a closure that can be called in either scenario. First things first. In our Prospects View file here, we'll add an import for that user notifications framework. So here, we'll do import user notifications. And now we'll add a new method to our Prospects View struct that will add a notification for a particular prospect. Down here, we're going to say func add notification for a prospect. It's a type of prospect, like so. This will go ahead and get access to the UN user notification sensor .current, and then make a closure that will basically add a request for this particular person here. So I'll say let add request be a new closure, and this will make our content to a UN mutable notification content like that. The title will be contact prospect.name. The subtitle is going to be that prospect's email address, like so. And then we'll add some sound here. We'll do the default UN notification sound, like that, boom. And now we're going to say when to show this alert in the future. Just for now, we'll say there are some date components in place, a new date components object, and we'll say that really all we care about is the hour of this thing is equal to 9. So it'll be 9 a.m. in the morning, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, whatever, just 9 a.m. Like that. And our trigger is going to be a UN calendar notification trigger with a date matching those date components, but don't repeat. Not 9 a.m. every single day, for example. That'd be quite annoying. And that can go inside a request and be sent off. So we'll say our request is a UN notification request, identifier, new UID, UID string. Oops, like that. So basically a random identifier. Content is our content, trigger is our trigger, and then call center.add that request, like so. And there's more code to come. So that's putting all the code to create a notification for the current prospect into this add request closure, which we can call whenever we need to in the future. Notice I have used this UN calendar notification trigger here. So we're saying explicitly here, a custom date components of 9 for the hour, 9 a.m. whenever that happens to be, wherever they are. But for testing purposes, I would recommend you comment out your trigger code here and replace it with a simple interval notification trigger. So rather than saying all this stuff here, that just commented out, that's just Command / on your laptop, on your keyboard, sorry. And then instead, just for testing purposes, use the interval instead. We'll say our trigger is a UN time interval notification trigger. So trigger after n seconds have elapsed. In our case, we'll do 5 seconds, repeats false, like that. So just for testing purposes, just so we can see it working correctly. And of course, in the real app, remove that, put the old one back in again. Now, that's the first part of the method. For the second part of the method here, we're going to use both get notification settings and request authorization together to make sure we only schedule notifications when we're actually allowed to. This is going to use the add request closure we just made a minute ago, because the same code can be used if we have permission already, or if we have to ask first and have then been granted permission. So replace this more code to comment with this. We'll say center.get notification settings, like that. This will be giving us a completion handler, this thing here, what to run. Here's the current settings. And if our settings authorization status is authorized, great. Call add request. Boom. Otherwise, we aren't currently authorized. We're going to say center request authorization with options and a completion handler here. Options, what do we actually want to show on the screen? For us, that's going to be alert and badge and sound. And completion handler will tell us, was it a success or not? And if it wasn't, what the error was here. And we'll say simply, if it was a success, so we've asked for authorization and we're granted it, great, we can now call add request as before. Hasn't changed. Otherwise, if we have an error to work with, we'll just print out error.localized description, like that. So you can see what went wrong. And what went wrong is going to be you were denied or whatever like that. Okay. That's all the code we just trying to schedule a notification for a particular prospect. And so now all that remains is to add an extra button to our swipe actions. So up with our actions up here somewhere. Here we go. This is them here. We already have delete and we have this if block here. This new button should only appear if they are currently not contacted, which is this section of the if here, the else section here. That's where we're going to put the extra thing here. We're going to say as a button with a title of remind me and system image of a bell. And when that's triggered, we'll call add notification for whatever prospect they were swiping on in the first place. My tint for this one, I'm going to use orange, like so. And that completes the current step and actually completes the project as well. Go ahead and press Command R, give it a quick try. Remember, we're in time interval notification trigger mode here. And so when you're in, there's no one here right now, I'll delete them, of course. And a new person, here we go. They're currently uncontacted, which makes sense. Here's our new button, this alert thing here. When we press that, it'll ask you, do you want to allow alerts or not? It's the first time I'm doing it. I'll press allow, but you want to get ready to press this button here, Command L, or go to the device lock option here. That locks the device. You can see the home screen and the lock screen, so you can test it working. You've got 5 seconds in our trigger, remember, so I'll press allow, then press Command L. It'll lock my device. Hopefully, after it counts down from 5, boom. Contact Paul Hudson at paul@hackingwithswift.com. Alerts work brilliantly. Good job.